Okay, I think we are live. I think so. Welcome to the This Is Not Therapy Hour. My name is Olivia Candosia.
My name is Samire and
And we are two therapists at Effective Artistry, but this is not therapy for very many reasons. One of them being, hang on, I gotta get the chat bar up. One of them being, we're live on the internet. And yeah, and many other reasons. So as you can see, Brandon Tessers is not here today. Brandon's got some life happening. So Samira's taking over. Very happy to have her here. A little bit about us. I'm doing Brandon's spiel, but I'm going to make it Olivia-fied. We work at a private practice called Effective Artistry. We work with individuals, couples, families, and groups here in Illinois, some of us in Wisconsin. What else do we do? Anything? Oh, executive functioning coaches. We've got a couple of those that can work worldwide. And yeah, I'm trying to remember everything else Brandon says. Now I'm on the spot, Samira.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, what this is not therapy. This is just an open conversation. And so Samira and I, we can talk all the time to each other about anything and everything. And we might be doing that until you join us and comment, and you can interrupt us. We're going to do our best to imagine what you would want to listen to, but until then, anything goes, right?
But also, this is an Olivia takeover, so
it really doesn't matter. I'm learning to liberate myself and not be held back.
Don't dull your shine.
Yeah, I'm not going to dull my shine. So thanks for being here with us. Feel free to ask us questions about anything and everything, even if it's about our clothes or what we ate for breakfast. We're here for it. We're ready for it. And we're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Samira, what's on your mind?
What is on my mind? This is very sweet.
What is it? I don't even remember.
Watermelon kiwi from Bean Bar with lemonade. And he did warn us and he did say that it was very sweet.
I did. I asked a barista, I said, is it better with the lemonade? And he said, it's sweeter. Which indicates to me that, no, it's not. It's just sweeter. I'm curious about you and like menu items. If you always order the same thing, or if you take risks with your food orders.
That's such an interesting question. I am a copy and paste. I will order the same thing every single time.
Yes.
I don't. If they have chicken tenders, I am a chicken tender girl.
Still?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm copy paste, but I want to try and show people that I'm adventurous.
So when does the adventurous come up?
Usually with an alcoholic beverage that I will take this much of a sip of and then hate it because I don't drink alcohol to begin with. But I'm like, but maybe this time I will like it.
Is it like the fancier ones? You think that they taste better?
Yeah, like some fruity thing, or I think it's...
So you just get burned every time?
And then whoever's with me ends up spending $15 on a drink for me.
As long as you're not paying.
100%. Brandon's going to be like, what? This is Brandon's father. Oh, it appears that you young people understand tech better than Brandon. Audio is clear. Thank you so much. That's also very helpful. So we're streaming from 3 platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And so if you're commenting from one of those platforms, you'll only be able to read comments from people on that platform as well. So if you're on Facebook and someone comments from YouTube, you won't see their comments. So Samira and I will do our best to read out loud what the things are saying.
I think you'll have to. I'm blind.
Yeah,
but also, we're working on getting the picture looking better as well. Shout out to Brandon, who will not get a new camera.
Yeah, we've been telling him for years to get I've only been here for a year, but it feels like years for me to get a better camera quality, because you're right. You're right.
You're so right.
And he's like, but it's not a big deal. But I think it is a big deal.
Especially when you're thinking about it from the neurodivergent lens, where like microphone, like the
visual sensitivity,
the
audio.
auditory sensitivity, where you do have those, like, when someone talks too closely to a mic, and it does have like that fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that is.
Yeah, I had a client once, and I don't eat on camera at all, but it was just the busiest day, and I'm like, can I eat on camera? And they were like, yeah, you know what? I don't have misophonia or whatever it's called, so yeah, you can eat. But I still didn't eat because I felt weird. I just
I don't think I've ever met someone without that.
without like
The misophonia.
yeah. I mean, it's hard because once your attention is drawn towards it, it's like
Yeah.
especially on a Zoom screen. Years, given the hyperbole. LOL. Aussie. LOL. Aussie. Is that how you spell Aussie's name?
No.
No.
Oh, easy guy.
No. Augie. Oh, sorry. I was thinking. Oh my goodness. It's fine. Great.
Why did you ask about the menu?
Because you ordered a different drink today and added. We've never been to this place before, and so I was wondering, like.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point. If it's a new place, I will be
Well,
adventurous.
duh. Yeah. There's no other choice but to order something new.
Hold on, because there's chicken tenders everywhere you go. Okay, there's some form of chicken nuggets.
That's fair. That's fair. But refresher. They don't have refreshers everywhere.
No, I'm not a refresher girl either.
No, I do not like refreshers from Dunkin' Donuts. I think they taste like poison energy drinks.
Never had them.
No, that's okay.
I will never have
That's
them.
okay.
Now. Thank you.
Australian, got it.
Oh, duh.
We're good. We're doing great. That's why I asked, and I always think it's like anytime I do order a food item outside of my comfort zone, I regret it because I'm like I knew that I had a comfort food and I abandoned it to try something new, and now I've just spent money on a thing I'm not going to eat.
There is that regret, that looming regret, and then you have to finish it because you spent money on it.
Do you though?
What a great concept.
I
Throwing it away.
I remember in high school I went to a Korean barbecue, and I don't know if there was some like rule behind eating the food, but like you had to finish it all, I believe. But I physically could not, and so I was hiding stuff in my napkins to make it look like I was finished.
Where was this?
Some Korean barbecue.
Oh, or you'd have to pay for the rest of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember feeling, one, I didn't like the food. And so I'm like hiding everything pretty much.
Mhm.
Like I wish I had pockets so I could have stuffed them in. Just makes me think of going to like new restaurants and the rules that you don't know about until after the fact. Let me try and explain this better.
Yeah.
Like a kid breaks a rule, but they're like, I didn't even know that it was a rule because you didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's any new experience anywhere where you're just like trying to figure out what is okay and what is not okay to do in a certain setting, or I don't know.
So what are the rules that you think or that you've found in restaurants?
Sure. I mean, like, even though like if a sign that says like please wait to be seated, it's like, okay, I have to wait to be seated. But if there's no sign, it's like, can I sit down at the restaurant?
That's such a good
Or
point.
do I have to wait? Right?
Yeah.
Waiting in line and like a rapid pickup versus like which door do I enter? If this is the rapid pickup door, can I enter that door?
Mhm.
Just like things like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now there's the whole like ordering online. There's like a full section of the restaurants that are just dedicated to online orders.
Yes.
So there's like that whole thing. So I get it. Yeah.
Are you an online order?
No.
No. Really?
I mean, so I will, but rarely.
Say more. Say more. Why?
Because it's if you order it on their actual website, it's cheaper. And then if you order it on like the Grubhubs or the Uber Eats, it's like $10 more. So I just go to the restaurant and order it there.
Oh, but why can't you go to the restaurant's website and just order from the restaurant's website? If it's the same.
Because then delivery is like a whole thing.
Oh, well, who said you have to do delivery? Why can't you just do pickup?
That's what I'm saying. So I pick up.
You do pickup. You do rapid pickup.
Yeah, but most of the time I will just order it there.
Samir, this is a great time to talk about food and executive functioning and how you do it and how you make food for yourself or order food for yourself and meal plan.
Okay. What do you want to know?
I want to know everything because I have been in school for the past 3 years and my diet has become a lot of like, if my partner's not making us food at his apartment, it is doing a lot of drive-through and pickup, rapid pickup or delivery. because I just don't have the spoons to, I'm just so exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are like tips and tricks or things you found for yourself?
So this is, I would need more information from you
Okay.
to actually give you answers, because one, do you like leftovers is a really big thing. If you don't like leftovers, then why are we meal prepping at all?
100%, which is why I've had trouble with meal prepping, is because I get so fucking bored of the leftovers.
But also, microwave chicken the next day tastes weird.
It does taste weird. A Chinese food the next day tastes weird. I'll have like a heap that I made the night before for lunch the next day, but I ain't going any further. My boyfriend, he will do like, he'll make the most giant heap of food for us, and he will eat it every day for breakfast for the next 5 days.
Oh,
He'll put it in a burrito and like scramble up some eggs.
okay, that's so he's adding to it.
That's true. He
That's a
is.
different way to do it.
Yeah, he's embellishing it. But even like the thought of turning on the stove is hard. I'm hoping to take cooking lessons sometime soon, just to lower the startup cost for me to cook.
Ooh. What is one of your startup costs to cook? Because you're saying that you often.
You know, I did HelloFresh for a bit during when the pandemic hit, and that was super helpful for me actually, because it gave me like, I know at least 10 recipes now that I can go to without HelloFresh anymore, because I've got the ingredients in mind, and it did make me feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and like I can explore and add a little mint here, and like it really is just like a meat or a protein, a side, and a veggie, and you just get creative with it. But sometimes when you look at the grocery store, you're just like, oh my god, like this is so many options. So yeah, taking cooking classes just to familiarize yourself with like go-tos is such a good idea.
It really is. But also the fear. So I have a really big fear with cooking chicken.
Yeah.
And I will, without a doubt, every single time overcook it on purpose.
Yes.
Because I'm so scared.
100%. Yes, me and my boyfriend for our 1-year anniversary years ago, we went to Gay House Cafe in Chicago, which is a fondue place. And I guess we should have known that like it's a fondue place, so you're gonna have to cook your own food. But I thought only the chocolate sauce was the thing that you cook your own. But it's like, no, you're putting the chicken on the fire and cooking it. And it was so scary because they're like, yep, just give it 4 minutes or whatever. But like, I want someone else to cook my own chicken, man. I want someone else to do it because I'm gonna think about the pink, even if the pink is gone.
Also, again, executive functioning with fondue places of having to take the extra step of cooking your own food.
And both of us have ADHD, so we were just like, what the hell? And like the restaurant was so crowded and tight, and like it was like the most overstimulating, not neurodiverse friendly place. It was such a nightmare. We're like, never again. I'd love to know where you're like, oh, I'm happy to make the same meals over and over again, but I can't really expand because I hate having like leftover cilantro that I can't think of anything to do with. Don't have the spoons to come up with a different recipe, and now it's just going to rot in the fridge.
So, who told me about freezing? So I had this exact same problem, but with like I cut up way too many like bell peppers and onions. I think it might have been Amy who said just freeze them. So like just freeze the stuff that you're not
like your bananas, yeah, because I have bananas just rotting. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess the freezer does work. But here's the thing. Freezing is a great suggestion, but I forget about the stuff in the freezer. And I can have notes on my fridge of stuff that's in it, and I will still forget. I try to do a lot of freezing, but cooking with frozen stuff is hard too.
I guess, yeah, because once you have to defrost, and then there's a lot more, it feels like there's a lot more liquid being pulled from it when you are freezing it right from so then that becomes another texture thing where there is like, you're substituting texture when you're freezing it.
I cannot get the hang of cooking frozen broccoli. Oh my gosh, me either. The ice that drips off that, it's like, I don't know science and math very well to figure that out. And then I'm like, well, I guess it's bad. I just toss it. God, what does that make me think of? Oh, sometimes if I do like, you can use AI sometimes too, like give me a creative recipe with cilantro or whatever. But sometimes I'll just go to Pinterest and type in like the 3 ingredients I have, and Pinterest has been my hero for recipes when I'm trying to like be creative or I'm in a creative rut with foods, and it'll just give me images and images of recipes that have those 3 ingredients.
What a good idea. I haven't utilized the internet enough.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful options out there. It's just choosing. choosing.
And then the internet gives you too many options, and then you have like 4 different things you can make with these 3 ingredients, and then you're stuck there like, okay, which one do I want to make though?
And then I guess you got to do a poll on your Instagram story. To ask people what I make. Okay, guys, this is what the internet told me. Baking seems to be the route, but then I need to make a lot of leftover baked broccoli. Is kind of gross. On a serious note, I'm really serious. When I find joy in a particular activity, there's no real startup cost. We can't wait to start. Is there a way to purposely create joy in activities? Don't that with self-hypnosis. I have that with self. Finding joy.
Finding joy in what?
In a particular activity, there is no real startup cost.
So are you saying having a new activity that you enjoy, there is no startup cost to that, and then having an activity that you think you might enjoy, there is a startup cost to that because you don't know what that would cost?
Maybe. I feel like, as Brandon says, there's a cost to everything.
Sure is.
And it is like, it's hard because it's hard to find joy in things when you don't know how to do the thing yet. You know, sometimes the joy comes secondary. And so it's like, when I'm teaching myself how to play my ukulele, there's that learning curve of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing, I want a simple answer. But then, months later, I'm feeling a little bit more joyful about it.
Okay, but with that, how do you stick with it? Because a lot of us will quit when we're not good.
Yeah, how do you stick with it? You just do. You just say, this is part of it. It's okay that I suck. I'm thinking about it right now, but at some point I will not be thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You give yourself 10 minutes a day. You don't have to do an hour a day. Just 10 minutes is enough. Or 20 minutes a week, whatever you feel comfortable with.
This reminds me when Caitlin started doing, pottery? No, ceramics.
Caitlin is a therapist at our practice.
Yeah, sorry. When she started doing ceramics, she went into it thinking like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm just going to be bad at it and it's going to be fine. And then she became really good and gave us all gifts and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So there's that as well, going in there with no
zero expectations. Yeah. And I think that's what it is for cooking too, is like, might be good, might be bad, and like, oh, I've made better, I've made worse, but knowing that that's kind of part of the process.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's some joy in that messiness of not knowing how to cook and being like, oh, that's okay. Like, isn't this funny that I learned a new thing, which is like, still don't know how to do this? Like, that's a discovery in itself. Thinking about broccoli and leftover broccoli, I do a lot of like crock pot recipes now.
Ooh.
So I can just throw them in the pot. A lot of broccoli pasta dishes. Thinking about how to utilize broccoli, and usually it's just throwing it in a bunch of stuff all together. So like a stir fry, a creamy pasta mix, adding some more fun spices to it. You can Mexican spice it up. You can Italian spice it up. Like there's so many different, Exercise is an example. High startup cost for many people. For my friends and I, there's a low startup cost. I might be using startup cost incorrectly. What do you mean when you say startup cost? What do you mean by startup cost?
I think maybe we should throw it back to the viewer and ask them what they mean by
Yeah. What do you mean by startup cost?
it. Maybe we're the ones that are seeing it incorrectly.
Yeah, define high startup and low startup cost for us. And what that means.
But also, the way that I see startup cost is like it's difficult to get into. If exercise is a low startup cost for you, give us your ways. Tell us. Teach us. Let us come into here and tell us how.
We're in that boat right now of like, oh my gosh.
Very high startup cost.
Yeah, exercise for me is like, I got myself my own apartment so I could have my own workout space. But then my home started to be different things for me. And it was like, oh no, I don't want to attach working out to this either. It's like sleeping on the couch. It's like, no, you can't do that because then I'm associating my couch with sleeping and blah, 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 and TV. And it just gets all wobbly.
Go ahead. No, please.
So I had every intention of working out at my place and like moving the tables around, but now I associate home with rest and recovering and not working out. And so working out to me would be like having to leave the house or paying for a class, which is high cost.
Literally.
Oh, right, he can comment, yeah. I'm seeing flashes.
Okay. Along with that idea of like, that works for a lot of people to have everything that they do, like working from home, working out from home, cooking from home, right? All these other exercises and activities. For myself, I'm so against that because there's just too much going on.
Yes.
And then you don't know where to start or what to do.
Do you also think it has something to do with living alone?
Interesting. What do you mean?
Because I loved when I took workout classes because I was with people and I had a community around me, even if I wasn't friends with them. And I'm like, I feel very lonely in my apartment at home. Like, I love it, but doing everything on my own with no faces around me, even going to a coffee shop just to do homework, like, makes me feel better than just doing homework at home.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
to me, high startup cost means it's really hard to start, but a lot easier once you get going. Like, there's a lot of barriers to entry to me, either because I don't want to do it or because there's a lot of prep work. There's a lot of buzzing on the mic to me today, and I don't know if that's just me. Okay, let's see. Maybe we're not so good at audio. I don't know. Keep talking, Samira.
well, I can't see. I'm blind, so I can't see what the comment says.
I'm extremely bad at working by myself at home. I have to have other people around.
Oh yeah, that goes into community. I feel like the number one thing that we're just not utilizing enough is community. That is 100% the reason why these classes are so successful. I'm getting sidetracked by what you're doing.
Okay.
Did we fix it?
I just clicked on reduce background noise, so maybe that'll help. Say that again.
Community within classes is, I think that's why these things are so popular and why they do make so much money, because they are feeding off of this idea that like America is an individualistic country.
Yes.
So we're all worried about ourselves. We're all living alone, and then we have to find these like third spaces to find community, which is like great that we have it, but also comes with such a big cost when you're used to living alone and being alone. And you know, I don't know if that made sense.
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. And it makes me think of just like body doubling and how big of a thing that is for the autistic community, of just having people be by you while you're doing your work so you can get your work done. It's like a huge thing in the autistic community.
Isn't there like there's the idea that there's like Zoom rooms with like just hundreds of people just body doubling, which is amazing.
Yes. So many things.
Executive functioning hack.
I don't know if I could do Zoom though. It doesn't feel the same to me.
As it like in person?
What do you mean?
Like in people in like here, body doubling in the same room versus Zoom or online.
Correct. Yeah. Like if I was just on my Zoom in my apartment and everyone else was doing Zoom, like I have taken so many damn virtual classes for drama therapy, and it just is not the same. Like, okay, everybody work for 30 minutes on your own on this art project and then come back and we're going to talk about it. It's like, I can't talk with you. I can't collaborate, connect. I'd have to go in a breakout room, but I'm not a host of this, and so blah, blah, blah. It's not the same. I'm glad it works for some people, but it's not the same for me.
Does it work for some people?
I don't know. I've never used the term before. I have a complete gym in my 1-bedroom apartment. Admittedly, it's a large property, but it's also a source of joy. Same with cooking. It's a source of joy. Organization also makes it easy to get started. Yes. Having like literally a dedicated spot to it, so nice. When I moved into my apartment, I was like, this place is this part of my soul. This place is this part of my soul. This is for this. And it does. Like, God, if I had all the money in the world, I would have my own workout room too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, computer body doubling doesn't work super well for me. But if I perceive that it's hard to start something, I can create a greater joy in the doing V's anxiety reluctant by using anchoring, self-hypnosis. Well, that must be a Tessers thing of how to do self-hypnosis, because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, we're still learning. Buzzing is better.
Buzzing, yay, good. Yeah, Brandon kind of was like, okay, here's the setup. This is how you do it. Then he talked our ears off for 40 minutes, and then he left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Body doubling.
Yeah.
And do you have thoughts about body doubling? Anything else?
I think it would be beneficial, and I should utilize it more. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would that even look like for you? Like, what are you trying to do that you're not doing?
That's a great question. 99% of the time I'm home, I have my headphones on and I'm just doing things with like another podcast playing or like music in the background.
Well, that's funny because there's company with you though.
I think
podcast. That's why we listen to podcasts.
So I do think there's a version of body doubling there.
Yep, Brandon knows a lot. I wonder where he gets it from.
Must be in the jeans.
Must be. One day we'll be like y'all.
We're trying. We're
trying so hard. His mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought something was wrong with me that I like got my own place but still had to leave it to do things. Like I genuinely thought, what's wrong with you? You have this whole thing, like you have your own office space, a place dedicated to blah blah. But no, I just want to see people. I just want to talk to people.
Yeah.
Home is, if I had roommates, I think it would be different. Maybe I would like work out with a roommate in my apartment together.
I think there's a balance. I really do. I think with roommates that the conflict is there most points.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're going to like a workout class with people that you don't know that you can get along with, but there's like that separation of like, there's no tension. There's no.
Sure. But I also think about like college roommates and how they'll be like, let's wake up together at 6 a.m. and start working out. And then like,
you did?
I didn't do that, but I knew a lot of people that did, and it worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, I don't know, was like that accountability buddy that they had immediately as soon as they woke up.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember living at home for a bit, and my younger sister and I would do like workout videos together. And just having that buddy to make it a little more fun, and like, it's so much easier for me to turn a video off when it's just me. But if somebody else is with me, like, no, we're doing it 10 minutes, like we're doing it. Yeah.
Just pushing or being pushed. Is that what I'm currently doing with Brandon is bullying him into doing things that he's uncomfortable with? Is that a form of bullying you into submission?
It depends on what you mean by bullying. It could be encouraging, Samira.
Like encouragement.
It's really funny though. I haven't thought about the difference between that word and like bullying. I once did a group cook Zoom. One person leading the others on an entree, another an appetizer, and another on the dessert. That's cool.
Interesting.
Gosh, there's a Zoom for everything. That feels more feasible for me than some other kind of like Zoom gatherings. Like cooking, you got the stuff at home. Maybe you can chime in and be like, hey, I don't have this ingredient. What's a good substitute? Like, tell us more about that. What was that like?
Yeah.
And what was the dessert? Because that's really what I want to know.
Did they go through all the steps together, or?
Yeah, it sounds like that's what it was.
That's so
like,
fun.
All right, everybody, here's my entree. We're gonna chop the blah 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 first, and everyone chop.
I love that.
It's funny. I've done workout classes in person where they also are doing the Zoom so people can come in.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, like, am I ever gonna be on the other end where I'm Zoom working out? I don't know. If I have a baby, maybe one day, and I have the baby in the background. Yes, therapists could consider themselves a bully, but what service do you provide if you don't take people into their discomfort? That's right, baby. Yeah. I had a consultation today, which is when you meet with someone for the first time to see if you'd be a good fit and they'd be a good fit for you. And it's so interesting. Every time I do them, they look different of like, because I feel like I'm a new human every day.
Yeah.
And your dynamic with a new person is also going to be different. But it's fun to be like, yeah, you know what? I use a lot of self-disclosure in sessions, just so you know, or like, you know what? I like it already starts happening, the bullying or the like pointing out or the like I'm not shying away from it as much as I think I would have.
Oh yeah.
A year ago. Now I'm more like, no, this is who I am. Oh no, I want to know what your cat's name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if that's a new one or
No,
not.
it's not. It looks like
Yeah, we're seeing weird things on this end.
it's okay. That happens to me too, and I just rely on Brandon to notice it changing.
Okay.
So
And he does a good job of not.
no, Brandon doesn't do a good job either. My reliance is not good.
Yeah.
Other Zoom classes. I'm like,
Well, even going back to what the original question that started this was the cooking, the actual
right.
Were you asking about what were you asking about tips? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I was making it open ended because I know that you do cook, and I was wondering if there's any cool discoveries you've made about oh, I do a lot of frozen meals, or I do a lot of crock pot kind of stuff, or I use this protein. If there's just something that
Trader Joe's has been my best friend.
Okay,
that's where I go, and yes, that it's they have frozen meals that you can spice up, and I say. Side note, I talked to a nutritionist for a few months and we went through everything I ate in a day, and I wasn't eating any fruits or vegetables.
What were you eating?
It was all focused on protein. I was trying to focus on protein for months, and she was like, you're not eating anything nutritious.
Interesting.
So that was a big wake-up call where now I am just, bell peppers are my favorite thing. So find a vegetable that really works for you.
Yeah.
Put that in.
So what are you doing with your bell peppers?
I chop them up into tiny little pieces and put them in everything that I cook.
Okay, everything being.
My favorite is the, I believe it's the Thai yellow curry from Trader Joe's.
Oh, so you're literally taking a pre-made meal and then throwing your extra stuff in it.
Yeah, I think that the curry is just the sauce, the pre-made sauce. And then, you add the chicken to it. You add a bunch of veggies in there. And you just, serve it over rice. Rice cooker, make your life easy.
You know what's funny? I have a rice cooker, but I've started even buying just the 90-minute put in the microwave rice too.
Even easier, perfect.
It has been a life changer. So then I just put my salmon in the oven, spice it up with some dill because dill is so good, and then I put it on top of my rice, and it's great.
Amazing. What kind of salmon? Where do you get your salmon?
From Aldi, just an Atlantic salmon. I did an everything bagel seasoning on top of my salmon once, and that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Getting really adventurous with trying different seasonings on the salmon because it's affordable, it's delicious. If salmon knew how good they tasted, they'd be so good out. I think about it, I'm like, y'all don't even know. It feels so luxurious and it's so affordable. One of the most romantic little dishes. Yeah.
Is that true?
It feels romantic anytime me and my boyfriend eat it together. It feels like, wow, we put a sauce on this, a roux or whatever it's called. We call it a roux anytime we make any sort of sauce with a heavy cream. It's probably not called that, but we're like, ooh, a roux.
What's his name would be so proud? Gordon Ramsay. So proud.
Give me your 3 meals that you make that you could make it for me right now if you had all the ingredients without looking up the recipe.
I mean, it's the yellow curry. There's one, and then you can't go wrong with pasta. Yeah. So it's just pasta with chicken and a white sauce, or pasta with ground beef and a red sauce.
Love it.
There you go.
I do a creamy Tuscan chicken pasta. Nice. Sometimes throw broccoli in it, and it's so much cream cheese, so much heavy cream, sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, the Marry Me chicken.
Oh, Marry Me chicken's delicious. Yeah. Yes. Spinach. Pour spinach in the pasta mix too.
There you go. Zinc. Apparently, some of us need more zinc in our life.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think I need more everything. I would love to get a practitioner to look at me and help me look at what my blood levels and everything.
Blood work?
Yeah.
We gotta get you hired on, girl.
What are we hired on?
We need to get your insurance.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm still an intern here, guys, for a month. Yeah. I'm nearing the end. And that has been interesting, but you've seen me through it all. You've seen me cry here. You've seen me laugh here. You've seen me almost fall asleep here. You've seen me get hypnotized. Sometimes when I'm not talking on this, guys, it's really because Brandon's voice is so, boring is the word that's coming to mind right now, where it just puts you in a lull.
I wonder if he knows.
He knows. Yeah, I've even told him, I'm not listening to what you're saying. But it's comforting to be with someone who knows that that's okay that you're not hearing everything that he's saying.
Mhm.
Like, I would feel so guilty otherwise if it was somebody else. I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. But with him, I'm like, oh, it's okay that I'm spacing out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he does make a point to, like, whatever you hear is what you hear.
Yes.
And then stop him and ask questions if you, like, lost track of the conversation.
Yes. Oh, it's 1:35. Cool.
But we're like, you lose track so early on and then you forget and then you're just,
Yes.
you're out of it.
And it's weird because he can say one thing and then you just think about something else in your life. And how do you even explain how you got to that 30 minutes later?
Yeah.
You're doing the Zoom cool chat right now. All you need to do is add pots and pans, cutting boards, and a stovetop. I would love to hear Brandon on Sleeping with Celebrities. Zoom cook chat. Samira, there's a content idea for you.
Zoom cook chat?
Yeah. Where you bring your cutting board and you just talk about therapy and cut up your food.
To you being the only person watching.
No, we got 2 viewers right here.
What was the first one?
Brandon on a Sleeping with Celebrities. Like a podcast kind of thing, or like a Calm app with Brandon's voice. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I get it. I'm thinking TMZ.
TMD.
TMZ.
Oh, TMZ.
Sleeping with celebrities.
That's hilarious. Wait, Sleeping with Celebrities, is that what you said? Yes, I think the phrasing Sleeping with Celebrities is a little misleading.
Clear it up.
So let's fix this. How can we phrase this in a different way?
Brandon is the
Is Brandon a celebrity? In some people's mind, Brandon was just talking about this actually, where he's like, I know a small amount of people, but I'm pretty well known in the small amount of people that I know.
Yeah.
So, yes.
You keep your world small enough, you are a celebrity.
It's a podcast where the host asks the guests to give like an hour-long talk on something very boring. He asked them to bring their Z game. Oh, Brandon's got that down pat.
That's a great idea for Brandon.
Send us links. We need this. Thank you, Bass. That makes sense. That's so funny. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I envy that Brandon can just go on and on about something. But then I remember I probably can too. I just have a more fun voice. I just censor myself more.
Okay, let's get into that. Why
That I
do you censor? Yeah.
Well, I feel like, or I think most people do, where
Absolutely.
where people think, is this relevant enough? Is this interesting enough? Whatever. And so my brain is always doing calculations of like, would I think this is interesting to the person I'm talking to? It's like when you're playing a game, like a game of charades, and you have a timer.
Yeah.
You flip that timer, you've got 1 minute. This is literally what I've said to you before, where I feel like I have a minute timer, where like I am executive functioning, deciding, is it worth it to explain how to act out monkey, or should I skip it and find another card to act out instead? Monkey, easy. I can do that one. You guessed it. Great. Okay. Witch underneath the bridge, too hard. I only have 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
And so it's this constant deciding, okay, does this person know me well enough? So where I can just like speak it right away and they'll just get it with me just saying one word. No, I just met this person. Now that's going to take me 45 more seconds to explain myself. It's a lot.
Have you been trying to extend the timer?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Look at me now. Look at here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time the timer's not there anymore, I will say.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's great. But it still pops up. I mean, selective mute for like 8 years of my life, but honestly, like my whole life, where it was like, I realized I didn't have to talk. I just could like cry or observe to figure out what I wanted or get what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where I have to speak. I have to.
Do you think that's why you got into
Performing?
theater?
Yes.
Is it because you got a script?
No. At home, my home life was very perform, be yourself, whatever. School, there were rules. There were things you had to do. Didn't know the rules also. And I didn't have that freedom. And so at home and through acting out scripts and printing out scripts, listening to Broadway songs, I was able to explore myself and put on roles and hats without getting in trouble. It was like permission to be whatever, whoever, whenever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which is why I do drama therapy now, to help people tap into that. It's a great podcast. Not every guest is great at keeping an even low tone, but Brandon would be great. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think I could. I already have such a melodic voice, people tell me, where it just has so many like ups and downs. Like I really love the way I speak because it's a thing that you can manipulate and play with.
Yeah.
And I would hate to have to talk in a low voice.
What are you trying to say?
But I remember when I did audiobooks for a bit, oftentimes I would get like meditation books or like self-help books and things, and I would be recording and I'm like, this is so fucking boring. Like and even my boyfriend would be like, this doesn't sound like you. This is not like you're doing just what everybody else does. And I had to like go back and be like, okay, what is Olivia's version of a meditation? What is Olivia's version of erotica? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever find it? Did you ever find those voices?
Yeah. I did a romance novel where the chapters flip between the male and the female character.
Oh, nice.
And that was really fun to like lean into the male voice.
Yeah.
Wild. Very wild time.
You have lived different lives.
I've lived different lives, yeah.
So many different.
It keeps flashing. I keep thinking I'm seeing stuff. It's the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Again, I'm blind. I can't see anything.
It's okay. Voice acting stuff is so interesting.
Yeah.
I've taken like cartoon animation classes for voices. I have a whole vocal reel for commercials. Didn't ever do any commercials, but like paid someone $700 to make this reel for my voice. And now I'm like, oh, it'd be so different 10 years later. But
was that 10 years ago?
Yeah, about like.
Isn't that so interesting that you are like everything that you're talking about right now is about like voices, about tone, about like the words that you're saying and how you're saying it. And you grew up for 8 years. What is selective mute? Yeah,
so selective mute is usually it's associated with autism in kids.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. So I would probably have gotten diagnosed with autism if I was a child, if my parents took me to get somewhere diagnosed. Because selective mutism, you do not talk in certain settings. Mm-hmm. You just. Some people think it's an anxiety disorder. Some people think it's a symptom of autism. That's just a communication disorder.
Okay, now as an adult, what did you think it was?
Anxiety.
Okay.
Very, very high anxiety is what I think it was. And also, like, I was just observing. I was like, I don't need to say anything. Like, obviously, me not talking is fine. Like, I'm getting by just okay. Mm-hmm. And then at home, I have a very supportive home where I can do whatever I want. I can paint on the walls and not get in trouble. Like it was lovely. My mom is like, I look back and there are some things I wish I didn't. It's fine. After she sold our house of 25 years, she's like, what is this hole in this window? What is this? Whatever. Like, oh my gosh, it's so funny.
That's so funny.
Does one have to do mental gymnastics to lead a client to growth? Asking sincerely, as I'm not a therapist. I mean, like our best performances. Isn't our best therapy a product of listening and drawing out more comments? I like what you did, Samira, when you said something to the effect of, let's ask like what the commenter means. Yes, observing. Yes. What?
I don't know. Tell me more.
I think a lot of it, it's mental gymnastics as much. Also, what does that mean, mental gymnastics?
Yeah.
I think it really is just asking for clarification. It's a lot of what do you mean by that? Because my definition is different than your definition. Yeah. It's being like, okay, do you want to fix this? Or are you just talking about it? Like, what do you want?
I think in the beginning, it's a lot of learning the client.
Yes.
Deconstructing everything that they're saying to like its base. Just trying to understand like, okay, what is this?
Yes.
And then going into, do we want to fix it? Or is this fine?
Yes.
Because half the time they're like, I think I should fix this, but it's like, should you?
Right.
Like, do you want to fix this, or is this just a rule that you think society has for you?
100%. Yeah. And a lot of those first sessions are interrupting and being like, hang on. What do you mean? Hang on. I don't know what that means. Like, even in my consultation today, I was like interrupting because I'm like, I don't know you well enough to know what this language or pattern is yet.
Yeah.
And Brandon always says that, like, most of the time in his sessions, he's in a flow state where he doesn't even remember what he says. And I love when my sessions are like that, where I wasn't thinking and I was just going with it. But I don't think I'm there yet where everything is a flow state.
I have never been in a flow state in my life.
No. Calculations is what I meant by mental gymnastics.
So calculating throughout the session, or calculating what you're going to say?
Most of the time, yes, like character lives first. What do you desire? I mean, that's what it is. It's just, what do you think? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brandon trains us to just say what's on our mind and what we're thinking, which is not like a lot of other therapy practices. So it will be like, someone might show me like their to-do list or their diet plan or something, and I'll be like, you know what? Honestly, seeing that makes me really overwhelmed. And I will actually say that out loud, and I'll be like, what do you think of it? Because I'm feeling overwhelmed right now.
Uh-huh.
And usually they're like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Other times they're like, no, actually, I'm okay. And it's like, okay, great. We can talk about that too.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think productivity is a good one.
productivity.
Yeah, because they all, like a lot of clients come in and either they think they're not doing enough and they're doing far too much.
Yes.
Or they have this idea of what doing enough is that is just, it's so off.
And it's so relatable because I too am the same way, where it's like my standard for myself is utterly insane.
Oh yeah, perfectionist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being able to point out to them like, whoa, you said you're doing nothing and you just listed to me 7 things that you did today. Like, kind of clarifying, or just, it sounds dumb to just say back what someone just said to you, but like really to have someone hear what they just said,
Very helpful.
very helpful. Olivia, she said calculates as she's leading this podcast as an example. Samira's leading this podcast? No, we're team.
Olivia's mom.
Samira does have more experience as a therapist than I do, though.
You have more experience with people.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You were a teacher first.
Yeah.
You then went into the hospital. You went into...
Actually, leadership's all I've been doing. It's like directing theater kids but I still get self-conscious though, because there is like just different skill sets that each of us have that I'm like, but I want that one.
You develop it.
Yeah.
You find what you want and you develop it.
Y'all are doing a great job. I think you're comparing yourself to Brandon. He does a great job of contributing to the podcast. And so do you too. A great job. A different way from Brandon. You know what? This is actually very helpful because we were just kind of talking to Brandon before this about like getting our faces out there and talking and like, do we even have our own ideas to share anything? And he's like, yes, you do. You have been. You do. And sometimes it can be really challenging sitting next to Brandon because Brandon has his own ideas and he has this authoritative power that's not intimidating by any means, but like he just has a lot to say. And so to have a new dynamic with someone else is like really fun to be like, oh, this is what my voice is like with this person in the room. And this is what comes up for me with her. Yeah.
I will say what Olivia is not saying. I think
Go ahead.
Olivia can contribute so much more to this podcast if Brandon kind of shuts up a little.
Yeah. Well, because Brandon he wants to stay on track with all 5 points that were developed in the stream. And so he wants to tie a bow on each one. And so he remembers all of them. I'm like, dude, wait, I want to talk about what we were just saying. He's like, hang on. And so it's really exhausting. We already forgot about food we were talking about. We talked about something else earlier.
I think the overarching umbrella is executive functioning and neurodivergence.
Yes.
Always. So.
And just working with what we got, accepting that we're not perfect, accepting that we each have something to offer and we're all unique in our own way. Fred Rogers quote over here. It's a good addition to the podcast, your personalities. Thank you.
You can just say it. We're better than Brandon. I know. It's okay. I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm kidding. No. But yeah, I think that from working here, you see things so differently.
Oh. I literally laughed out loud at the comment about Olivia having more. Up right in there. It's true. I think it too, but I don't know what to say. I get so scared.
I think maybe interjecting more.
But it's like, it's hard because Brandon has an opinion about everything. And I know we all do, But like I said, I'll say it, he'll comment and talk about it, but then he'll try and connect it to what the listeners want to hear and assume what they want to hear. But I don't know. It is a calculation I cannot figure out.
His presence is overwhelming.
Yes.
His conversation is overwhelming.
And I love him and I want to hear what he has to say because it's like there is stuff to it. And obviously I have changed and breathed differently because of working under his supervision.
Yeah, of course.
But it is hard to co-host. I wouldn't even call myself a co-host. I would call myself a background character in the script, which is so interesting. I would love, no, I don't think I would love, but I'm imagining if like for a day I had to do what Brandon does. But I don't know if he could sacrifice it. Like, and not
sacrifice what?
Not talking as much or having the control over it. But he's like, but I'm not doing that. I'm just responding to what everyone else is giving us.
So going back to what you were saying about the timer,
yeah,
I think this is a really, really good, like thinking about it this way with the timer, I'm wondering if you have not a timer, but something different when you are in the podcast with Brandon, where it's not a timer anymore because you're working on that, but it's something else that we don't know yet.
It's almost like I just put the timer off to the side and I throw it and I go, I don't need to talk because Brandon's got this.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
It's like, why even bother? Because Brandon can talk. What Brandon's saying is what people are here for. This is Brandon's business.
Okay, then why are you here if that's how you feel? You know?
Well, Brandon's not here right now.
No, but like in every other podcast with him, like,
because I need the hours. I think there's different kinds of co-hosting. You don't have to have as much of a presence, but I think having you there to bounce ideas off help. Brandon thinks there. I think so too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is like I think that you are not seeing the value that you actually bring into the podcast.
I think so too, and that, it's hard because I'm trying to think about it like the roles and what's my role here, but I don't have that outside perspective, and it is very hard to see my value when I'm next to someone that I really do idolize. Right? Yeah. Sorry, Samira. Okay. I very much idolize you too, but in a different way. Where it is, what did you say?
I idolize you too.
Thanks. Yeah. And then there's probably some like masculinity, femininity things going on here too. Maybe there's some dad stuff going on too. Like there's a lot of things happening. And just figuring out my value and worth with someone who is full of so much knowledge. It can be, a lot.
Do you think that you contribute to the podcast with him?
I mean, hearing that is very helpful to see of like,
okay, good.
Yeah, but most of the time, no, I don't. It's weird because yes, having a person there to bounce ideas off of, like, I know this is a helpful thing versus Brandon just talking on his own. But I'm like, well, just replace me with anybody. Like, it's really hard for me to like think that I have something special that is contributed. Like genuinely, it's really weird for me, but I'm not crying about it, which is weird.
So if I went on the internet and started to talk about the clothes that I was wearing with you in the room, I would feel very, very, I would want to mute myself because I'd be like, Olivia's got it. She knows what she's talking about. Mm-hmm. She knows style. She knows outfits. She knows everything. And it would be very hard for me to be like, I guess having a voice in that thing when you are so knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's what's playing out here.
Probably.
But what would you say to me in that instance?
Be like, girl. Like, honey, I don't know as much as you think I know. But Brandon says the same thing. It's a mess.
So maybe believe him.
There's a branding element that leans on Brandon's personality, and his conversations are incredibly helpful. I am drawn here because I love my conversations with him. Yeah,
he's great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
He's very intelligent.
For sure. But here's the thing. I feel like you know a lot more about food with me, but I don't feel intimidated by you where I feel like I would need to mute my microphone to talk about food with you.
Yeah, but if I was Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, yeah. You would feel like, oh. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's why I'm so interested by, I don't know if you watch Somebody Feed Phil.
I don't think so.
Okay. Phil Rosenthal was like a TV producer. He's great. He's the sweetheart who like goes to different countries and just eats their food and talks about it. But like doesn't really, I mean, now he knows a lot about food because he's like eaten so much, but like doesn't really know a lot and doesn't like contribute much to talking about the food. But there's something so captivating just about him as a person. And I think I forget, and this has been something I've been dealing with as a child too, is like I forget that there is so much value in just being a human and your personality, and that can be enough. I remember comparing myself to my older brother who was math and science friendly, and my parents were like, no, Olivia, you're like creative and you have these like really, silly performances you do. Like there is merit to that. But so many of those things are things that a lot of people just volunteer for when they retire, are a lot of things that are free service, are things that people don't pay money for often. It's just like, oh, you're just a preschool teacher. Or like it feels just like anybody could do that kind of job when really it is a skill set.
Yeah.
And so I get in my head about that too, of like the soft skills feel so natural to me, but what's the value in that? I'm better at it now, but still obviously need some work.
That's very interesting.
It's kind of like therapy, isn't it? You don't have to have any great insights. I don't know if you can ever know the person you're working with as well as they know themselves. That doesn't mean you're not helping them being there. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And it's true, like we talk about like ChatGPT replacing therapists and things and how like it can't, because a person in the room is so different than a computer, no matter what. Like, no, ChatGPT cannot replace what this is.
But also ChatGPT will never ask you to define what you mean in the same way that a person will ask you to define what you mean, because it's pulling from a dictionary.
Right.
So it thinks it already knows.
Right. 100%. I think you might have missed my comment about how the two of your voices that leads the conversation. Wait, hang on. Missed my comment about how the two of you have the voices that leads the other conversations that would not happen without you. Changing up hosting on this podcast is powerful from time to time about how the two of you. Yeah. I think so too. Thanks, guys. You guys are being so supportive. It's very sweet. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't nervous going on today. I was like, yep, this is what we do every Monday, and I talk. Like, I know how to talk.
But you have been doing a lot of the leading in this. How does it feel? Because you took on a more leadership role here today.
It feels very even keel, to be honest. I don't feel like there's a leader here, maybe a little bit, but it feels very natural to me. I also feel like I'm your friend and like I hang out with you outside of here. And so there is this comfort of like, if I'm awkward, like we can laugh about it off camera and be like, oh, I remember that moment or whatever. Or I guess Brandon would be like, so let's talk about that, Olivia. So why were you tearing up there? Where as opposed to my relationship with you is very different.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm like stomping on you if I take up space talking or anything like that.
I hope that from this experience you take up more space moving forward with Brandon.
Thanks. I'll see what I can do. I want to. It's just like I don't even know what that looks like, and maybe that's just like testing out.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
Remember we said you threw the timer away, but what does it look like? Like, what are you missing? Why is it so difficult for you to try and take up space in these moments?
I just want to be like, you try it, Samire. For years. and why was it so hard for you?
This is why I don't do the
podcast. So what is it for you then? Of like, why is it hard for you?
To have conversations with him?
Yeah.
I think it's different when you are in a room together alone without like and having people listen in versus being a part of this experience for other people.
Yeah.
So like it's easier for me to be quiet in these conversations with him, which I am not. I have been
more vocal,
very vocal lately. But in this experience I'm just wondering how it would feel to be more yourself and not be. I think what it might be is like this idea that you are. I don't know.
Yeah, it's this. Brandon has more value than I do.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Which is BS. With that, we are at our time for this, but we're so grateful that y'all were along for this ride with me. I observe a different Olivia today, and that is good. I agree. Thank you. want her to be like, no, it's still you and the other one. And I'm like, this is what I want to be more of everywhere. And is that masking? Is that whatever? Who knows? What are we doing by masking? Find out next week on This Is Not Therapy Hour. Also, I hope you guys noticed we made our names bubbled and pink because this is not Brandon Tessers. Okay, we love you. We'll see you next week, or maybe I'll see you next week, and I'll try and take up more space. And I encourage you all to type to me and say, hey, talk more, and make Brandon shut up, and I'll do it. Okay, bye, guys. Ending stream.